Oh, I didn't. All right, I'll do it now.
He's going to do a reality show.
I'll tell you what, man. His fucking life is incredible.
Whose?
OJ.
I wouldn't want to be
The
it.
fact that he got away with that crime, and then he went to jail for multiple years over.
Yeah, but that, and truly, on its face,
If it was anybody else,
that was unfair.
it would have been, you
It
know.
was unfair.
Not for him.
Huh?
For him?
It was truly unfair.
Our legal
The sentence
system
was given
fucked up.
for what he did.
Yeah.
Come on, Dan.
Oh, which one now? Which is the civil lawsuit of the murder?
No,
where he went
he
to
wasn't
jail.
given jail time
In Vegas.
for that robbery. No one would have gotten that much time.
Yeah.
The judge
For trying to get their own shit back.
Here's what the judge was doing. He was saying, now's a chance to punish you for the murder, which he wasn't convicted of. Do I think he did the murder? Absolutely. Did he skate? Yeah. But it really, on the face of it alone, was unfair.
There's a chance
You know what I'm
Mark
saying.
Furman,
I never looked at
Mark Furman stole his blood while he was sleeping and sprayed it around the crime scene.
How the hell did he get off on
That became a
I
white,
know.
it became, no, because Furman used the N-word every day of his life. It
No.
became a white-black thing.
No, I could be because of the Rodney King riots before.
Yeah, that's true. That was very close to the same time frame.
And I guarantee you they didn't want to cause riots.
No.
No, the jury doesn't look at that shit.
Yeah.
It was purely because they were punishing Mark Furman for being a racist. Let's call him what he is. That's exactly what he is. Judge Ito. God damn, I was glued to that trial, though. I sat there and watched that like a soap opera. In fact, it was on during the soap operas.
Well, that was one thing when they announced the verdict. Any black people, white people.
I know, it's so weird.
Do you think it was a black-white?
Oh,
Absolutely
God.
it was.
Well,
Absolutely.
Come on.
Of
I
course
should
it was.
believe that.
Man, I gotta say, if I was a black dude, I'd probably be more pissed than most black people. I'd be like, shit, my grandfather was a slave. I'd be pretty fucking pissed.
I wouldn't. I'd say thank you for getting me out of Africa.
Yeah, see, that's easy for you to say.
I absolutely would say
Oh,
that.
absolutely, for sure.
Absolutely.
You don't think black people are better off in America than they would have been if they stayed in Africa?
I would have said thank you.
What do you mean when they were brought over here on slave
They
ships?
weren't
that
brought- it
was
was their
terrible.
ancestors.
No, that was terrible. When I'm
Absolutely,
talking
it
about
was terrible.
today's black, today's Afro-American,
Yes,
you don't
definitely.
think they're better off than they would have
Yes,
been
but-
staying there?
Yes, but
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
What I'm
matter,
saying
Ron.
is not racist.
No,
I am saying that I think today's blacks are better off than their ancestors would have been had they stayed in Africa.
yeah, but the
Was
fact
that-
that we
was
brought
that-
them over on slave ships is kind of fucked up,
course it's
man.
fucked up.
It's
Mark,
crazy.
of course
Mark, no, I'm not saying that. I didn't even address that. That's terrible.
So then how
I'm
would
not
we
talking
how
about
would
it.
we know they're better off is what I'm saying. How do we know where Africa would be if we didn't break I don't know. I don't
Go
know.
look at every country in Africa.
Every
Well,
one
that's
of
true.
them.
I know that's
Every one of them.
Every one of them.
Even untouched by white people.
Yes.
Look at it.
Look
it's
at
not it's not white or black. It's Africa as a continent.
Go. Shut up.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. People really get an earful when they listen online, don't they? Because they hear everything behind the scenes.
My God.
And by the way, this is live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and you hear everything. Yes, you do. So if you ever have a comment on stuff we talk about offline, you can do that. You can also message us directly on our social media, Facebook or YouTube, and please spread the word. This is how I explain the show when I say the only show of its kind anywhere. Okay, just picture this, and then we'll get right to the phones. Do you ever get pissed off at something, and you're just by yourself, you're in your car, somebody treated you like garbage, or you think someone should know about something that's unjust? You know, you tell people, right? You sit at the bar, you might tell people. You're at home, you tell people. You might even go on Facebook. Or you tell your wife, you tell your husband, you tell your kids, you know what I mean? You all talk about it. But it just grates on you. Well, this is the place when you call, other people who are having those same thoughts say, you know what? I feel the same way. I feel, yeah, that sucks. And then more and more people get together. And we aggregate all of those complaints and concerns and issues and put them together. And we give you a voice. That's what we do. Now, a guy called yesterday, no, it wasn't yesterday, it was a while ago, about ASAP. AP Roofing. He feels like he was tricked into a contract. And he says that he signed something thinking he was giving someone access to their roof, to look to his roof, to look at the damage.
74-year-old man.
Mark took the call. I was off, right?
Yeah, 74-year-old man calls in and says, hey, listen, these guys knock at my door. They say, hey, we'll do a free roof inspection because we're in the neighborhood. Just sign here to give us permission. He finds out that that was actually the contract, calls up, says, I want out.
Okay, now, let me explain this approach. The knock on the door. Hello, sir. We're here to inspect your roof free of charge. No they don't say no obligation. They say free of charge. All you have to do is sign to give us authorization, and it does give them authorization. They sometimes say to give us authorization to talk to your insurance company or whatever, and technically it's a contract. Now, I want to make this very clear. I don't know if that's what ASAP did. That's what Frank said they did. However, knowing how roofers work, I'm not surprised, because if ASAP did it, they're just one of many, 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 many roofers who do the same thing.
They might have had a zealous salesman that did it, and the ownership didn't know.
No, all I'm saying is that is a common ploy in the roofing industry. They're not alone. Now, then there's a second part to this. The state of Colorado instituted a contract requirement and certain regulations. You have to give someone a 3-day right to rescind. And that 3-day right of rescind cannot carry a cancellation fee of any kind, a penalty. However, after 3 days, I do believe penalties are allowed. I do believe after 3 days, you are allowed to have a cancellation or a penalty for canceling. So, here's the point. In this particular case, what would the penalty be? Because the contract did not have an amount on it. The contract, can I get it in front of me, please? I know we have several copies and I read it. The contract simply has a blank there. Now, let me explain this to you. We have fought this and won before, and we can do it again. A blank contract is not considered viable in the state of Colorado.
And what we're referring to is Senate Bill 38. It was enacted in 2012, and basically it says that it has to have the detail and scope and cost of the roofing work.
Right.
That's one of the things.
Now, again, ASAP is not the only roofer that does this. They fill out an application that talks about doing whatever the insurance company authorizes. In other words, a lot of roofers feel that if they'll just take care of the roof and all the consumer has to pay as their deductible, there's no harm. However, I disagree. In general, that is not to the consumer's best interest. Here's why. And I'll give this example, then I'm going to let the owner of ASAP Roofing come on. Okay, here's an example. If a roofer believes that you need on your roof items A, B, C, D, and E, let's just say that. Now, those items could be roof vents, soffits, fascia, underlayment, or decking, whatever. A, B, C, D, and E, okay? Now, the adjuster says in their private meeting, we're only going to pay for A, B, and C. The roofer says, okay, fine. So then, together, the roofer and the adjuster have made an agreement, and the homeowner never knows what he is not getting because it's not specified in the contract. Whereas if a roofer was forced to put down in detail everything that was wrong with the roof, A, B, C, D, and E, and then the insurance adjuster says we're only paying for A, B, and C, the homeowner would have an opportunity to fight for D and E. But not knowing, he would never do that. So roofers who say, we'll do whatever the insurance company authorizes, they're not on your side. So I just want to make these things clear. Not exclusive to ASAP. This has to do with the industry in general. Now let's talk about ASAP in specific. On this contract, it is clear that there's no price here. And the cancellation clause says that if they cancel, it'll be a certain percentage. I'm looking for the cancellation clause, guys. Did you highlight it for me? I know I read this earlier, but the cancellation clause says, can you find that for me, please? It says it will be, if they cancel, it will be what percentage?
33.
Of line 1.
Yes.
And line 1 has no price.
It's 0.
So, Mark, you contend that's 33% of 0.
Yeah, which is great. So let's go ahead and I'll make this guy pay, the customer, pay ASAP 33% of 0.
Customer agrees, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So let's talk to ASAP Roofing. Kurt, he's kind enough to come on. He wants to talk about it. Kirk McCoy, thank you very much. Kirk, go ahead.
Hi, thanks, and good morning, Tom. And yeah, this is an interesting situation, and
sure,
to initially address it.
By the way, I don't think on the face of this you did anything wrong. If he signed a contract, there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem I have here is that you didn't put a price in.
Mm-hmm. And obviously that is something that we train our project managers, that they need to be responsible for properly filling up the contract, and I agree it wasn't properly filled out. But more specific, I just want to address that we did not train the way you were just speaking about you know, that this is an authorization to inspect your roof or talk with your insurance.
This is, we're talking, I'm sorry, Frank is the guy. Was it a woman you talked to at his house?
No, it was the guy.
Okay. So, Frank, they said that they didn't do that to you. They didn't say it was authorization. What did you, Kirk, do you know what your salesman said to him according to your salesman? What did he say?
Well, no, I know how they're trained.
Okay, how are they trained?
They're trained to explain that, as you mentioned, we're in the area helping other neighbors, that we would like to help them through the insurance process, and that if we can get the insurance to approve it, they allow us to be the contractor of choice.
Okay, so now, what happens if someone wants to cancel and there's no price on there? What do you do about the penalty? By the way, can I ask you a practical question? If he did cancel, I know why people have cancellation clauses, and I'm not against them, actually. I'm not against them. If everything is done properly, I'm not against a penalty. Because if you lost money, I'm just asking, did you actually order the roofing materials for this job?
So, no, we did not order the roofing material. And the reason why we lost money in this case is because we don't actually have 1099 independent contractors. We actually use employees for our project managers.
And so how did you lose? You mean your employees' time?
Correct. And we also out their company vehicles.
I understand. Yep.
You know, all of that.
Okay.
So that's our loss.
I understand.
You know, and that's different than the industry, because most of the industry is 1099. So it's an individual going out to solicit business. Okay, so then if your employee did something wrong and it says it is agreed that they'll pay 33% of the approximate cost listed above, and will be charged for punitive and actual damages suffered. I totally understand that. So by the letter of the law, by the letter of your own contract, there's no amount. No, and yeah, exactly. And I agree with you, Tom, and I was going to go on to state that it's very rare that we ever assess a penalty. More often than not, we want the opportunity to sit down with the homeowner, explain our side, try and reach a suitable resolution for both parties, and proceed with the work. And I'd say 60% of the time we can complete that. The rest of the time, if there's a legitimate reason why we can't come to terms, then we're not going to hold the customer hostage. I mean, that's going to be a customer that is problematic through the entire process anyway, and it ends up being more of a hassle than just letting them go.
Mark has a letter from Igor. I don't know who Igor is. And again, Kirk, I want to make this clear. You do nothing really unusual compared to the roofing industry in general. I might not agree with every little thing you do, but I'm not here to hold you up on a stick. It's not unusual. So, Mark, though, there is a letter there that contradicts what he just said, though, right, from Igor? What is it? It says that we have calculated the cost of this contract.
Yeah, not only that, it's basically saying, hey,
$600 you owe us.
If you don't give us a check and you don't give us one quick, we're going to put a lien on your property, old man.
Okay,
now, I'm paraphrasing.
Well, I did say old man.
I'm paraphrasing.
Now, Kirk, you did not put a lien on the house, as we understand.
No,
Okay. So, listen, this is a normal collection letter. It looks like a form letter to me, other than the part with the cost of the roof. But I guess the bottom line is what you're saying is you're not going to lien this house, and you're not going to charge the guy.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, and as we agreed, it's, you know,
can I ask you something? I want to ask you something. On a percentage basis, what percentage of contracts cancel?
I'd say that probably about 25% actually.
And what usually do they cancel for?
A variety of issues. The largest being that there's a policy issue to where they had an actual cash value policy, or the deductible ended up being higher than they expected, or something of that nature.
Okay. Thank you for being here. I mean, do you have anything else to say? Because I think you're handling it fine. I don't have a problem with it. The only problem I had is that the contract was not complete. Do you have anything to say, Frank?
Well, I guess, no. I just feel that I was misrepresented when the guy came. Now, the guy that represented ASAP has been here 5 times.
What do you mean 5 times?
Well, he came back and said that he got fired or that he quit. I don't quite remember. And he said he's not with them anymore because he didn't like the way they did business.
Well, he probably didn't like that they got after him for the contract he wrote.
So anyhow, I told him I wasn't happy about the contract. He said, well, Frank, I get a % of what I get done. Well, now I understand how he got me to sign that contract is because he gets a cut.
Well, Frank, you're making it sound like that's dirty. I mean, that's a salesman's commission.
I think it is if he's telling the guy he needs to sign here to go check out the roof.
Yes, if he misleads him. Look, I'm not going easy on ASAP. I don't know them from Adam. I'm just saying that in the roofing industry, almost everyone gets paid a commission based on their production.
Oh, yeah, but that's different than tricking someone.
Right. And we'll never know. I tend to believe, Frank, only because we've heard it a million times. A million times that people are told, sign this for authorization to get on the roof. We hear that all the time, so I tend to believe you, Frank. And I understand you felt tricked. So the point is, it's not going to come back to bite you. They're going to let you out of the contract and problem solved, basically. Here again, listen. I can only go by this case. And in this case, there was nothing, there was no amount, and the contract is null and void. And you're out of it. So I think you're doing well. I'm way over time, unfortunately. But I want to tell you, as far as garage doors, One Clear Choice Garage Doors is someone that I highly recommend. You will love them. That's all I can say, because I have never seen a company run more tightly. They will do free inspections. You got to mention Martino. They'll inspect your springs, your hinge bolts. They'll tighten them, they'll adjust it, make safety adjustments even, and give you a written report with no obligation. Garage doors, full replacement, Wi-Fi compatible, battery backup, starting at $299. 303-565-6409.
That's a shakedown letter, man. They were shaking down that old cat.
I know, but you know, hey, we got it solved.
Yeah, it is
problem solved. He said I gave him Excel's number. He said he was going to call Excel.
Yeah, that poor old man. He did get tricked, too. I am sure of it. Did they fire the guy that tricked him, or you don't know?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
He said, well, at least Chris didn't say that, but Craig came back and told Frank that. I'm not sure if he's trying to get him somewhere else or...
Chipotle shares plummet.
Again?
I always told you, Chipotle...
Okay, I'm going to send this right now.
Chipotle is a bunch of shit.
I found those Lazaro ones.
You like the iHeart address, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Those Lazaro ones, so there's 2 that need to be removed. They're the 32nd ones.
Okay, I'll give you new ones.
Send me some ASAP and I'll replace them. I got to let them run in the meantime because they're 30s and 30s.
They don't know how to clean their hands. They don't know what to do. You see these gypsies in Pennsylvania now? They're fucking shitting in the streets.
Is that wrong?
A bunch of immigrants from Romania. They actually are gypsies. They came in here. They all moved to this little town in Pennsylvania.
They were persecuted.
They have no idea. That's right. The reason we allowed them in is they were persecuted. but they have no idea how to assimilate. And the problem is they literally shit in the street and do all this weird shit, man. I mean, it's just, that's what they're used to. They don't know how to live.
You know why?
They got fucking video of a guy taking his shit in the street.
No. I don't think that they're used to doing that over in Romania.
Yeah, they are. They don't have indoor plumbing. Oh, where else do you think they fucking shit?
And I'm not sure if this is whatever. Gypsy, you talk to anybody who's lived around gypsies?
Who the fuck do I know that's lived around gypsies?
Saying, well, I do.
And how do you even know they are gypsies?
And what is
they are gypsies?
Everyone calls people gypsies. Who
No. They're the Romanian. They say they are the gypsies. So they're on Tucker, right? That's where you heard it on Tucker.
Yeah, but then I went. That's exactly where I heard
Tucker Carlson. Did he call them gypsies?
Yeah,
they are gypsies.
He didn't call them.
And they had a gypsy representative, Roman.
Is Tucker doing a good job?
I think his ratings are killing everybody else now.
What am I looking for here?
Gypsies
are spot on.
They're actually originally from India, but that was 1,000 years ago.
Who told
Here we
you
go.
that?
Community outrage.
Wikipedia.
Let's see. The government moved 40 Romanian gypsies into a town of 7,000. On Thursday, more than 150 residents. They fail to assimilate. They don't understand their customs, they say.
They're thieves.
They cited they throw trash in their backyards. Children and men defecating in public streets. The immigrants cutting off the heads of chickens in public areas.
Mark, are you exaggerating?
No, it's exactly what they're doing. They have video of the shit, too.
But this, anywhere you...
I heard they're moving to Cherry Creek. Castle Rock, watch out.
Because we got to assimilate them in a well-developed community.
As long as they keep them out of Franktown. I think they should go to Cherry Hills. You can park right behind Elway.
So,
you know, did you ever see my house in Cherry Hills?
No, but I've heard about it.
Do you know what my taxes were?
I can guess. Hold on. Is it, so, hold on. What county is it?
Arapahoe. But it's Cherry Hills.
I'm going to guess your taxes were $26,000 a year.
Yes. How did you know that?
I don't know. Fucking educated guess.
So, hold on. So that was like 26 grand. Landscaping, because it was...
Yeah, you're not mowing that long.
I'm way past my pay grade at this point.
You'd have to start Monday and you'd finish Friday.
So I think we were spending literally $4,000 a month.
That's with pool boy and shit, right? Yeah. Maintenance.
So if we looked at 26 plus 4, that's $30,000 for an empty house. Then we had water and sewer, which was huge. That was another about $400 a month.
I was at
times 12, so that's another $4,800. So let's say $4,000. So we were, for an empty house, at just for sitting there, $34,000. $34,000 just for sitting there with a paid-off house. That was $2,800 just in a paid-off house.
Take it all, take it in, take a...
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Okay, we need to talk about some really important issues that I will talk about. Two things that are on my mind right now. The economy, it is doing wonderfully, but I swear to God, there are some signs that I want people to hold me accountable for. I am hoping I am wrong, but we won't know for another 1.5 to 2 years tops. Tops. No longer than 2 more years for the Great Recession. Greater than before. Unless we take steps to curb that. The other one is health care. I do believe, and I've never believed this before, but I do believe we need a national health care system of some kind. I do believe that. I believe health care is as important as Social Security. Social Security is important. We have to take care of our elderly or afford them the opportunity. And health care, I believe we need to take care of health care. It's like education. I don't mind. Education, defense, health care. There are certain things I think we do better as a government.
Do people deserve to have those things if they're able to work but don't work, in your opinion?
Mark, that is the age-old question that we wrestle with all the time. And my gut feeling is saying no. But we don't believe that in this country. We provide for everyone. When we have a program, we do not discriminate. There are so many lazy jerks getting away with murder. Not murder, living off the trough. But I think most people on public assistance are not taking advantage.
The majority.
I think the majority. I have no data.
Know. Yeah, I don't either.
Okay, I'm glad you have on John Jones from Integra Insurance. I want to talk about healthcare. I promise I will get to all of your calls. Please hang on. Okay, people, I always hear the media talk about those who will be uninsured if the Republican plan goes through. By the way, I'm glad the Republican plan didn't go through. It sucks. But so does Obamacare. You're going to hear me talk more truth than party affiliation. I don't have one. It sucked. But it didn't suck as much as Obamacare. But Obamacare sucks. It just sucks. Listen to this. This is one of the most important issues we are facing. We are under an illusion that people have health insurance. The only people truly benefiting, truly, are those who pay nothing. Those who went to Medicaid. Because this Obamacare opened up the doors for Medicaid. I want you to understand what's going on here, because this is not political right now. I'm not speaking political. We're going to talk about health care and the economy. So I want to bring up John Jones. John from Integra Insurance on a referral list at referralist.com. John, am I right to say that what Obamacare did was opened up the Medicaid rolls for more people, right?
That is correct.
And about how much did it increase? Would you say 50%, or did it double, or did it 25%? Do you have any idea? I don't know.
The number I heard here in the state of Colorado, the enrollment went from about 750,000 to about 1.35 million.
So it doubled.
Pretty close.
And I think around the country that's the same. Medicaid doubled. So when we talk about Obamacare and people who are truly benefiting, I believe, I might be wrong, John, and if I am, I want to know. I'm not carrying a flag here. Did Obamacare, it helped a lot of people with public assistance, let's just call it Medicaid, but I would say that no one else benefited. Is that true or not? Or did it bring down the cost for some?
Now, I would think those that benefited, Tom, were those that actually got tax credits based on their income.
Okay, wait, though. John, I swear when you say that, I understand what you're saying, but I don't recall ever in my life having deductibles like I do now, regardless of how much I pay monthly.
But let's say that. John, let's go there. Let's talk about the income group. John sees them every day. We don't. Let's talk about the income group that truly benefits from subsidies, okay? What income group is that?
Those that fall between 130 and 250% of the federal poverty limit.
Well, wait, give me an idea of what that means.
Okay, let's say we had I'm trying to think right now, family of four.
Yes.
Technically, they could earn up to $95,000 and still receive tax credits.
Okay, but what does that bring their premium? I'm going to try to ask for an average premium for a family of four with tax credits, with normal tax credits.
If they're, and I'm going to answer it this way, Tom. If they're falling between that 130, which would be somewhere between, let's say, 45 and 70,000 a year.
Yeah.
At that point, their tax credits, they're not only going to receive tax credits, so typical premium, let's use people in their 40s.
Yeah.
Their typical premium is going to be about $1,000 a month.
So even with the subsidies, or is that
the subsidies now?
What's that?
Between that 130 and 250% of the federal poverty
I understand.
Limit,
what will
their premium might now be down to about $500 to $600.
Okay, so even with subsidies, a typical family will pay about $600 a month,
or lower, depending.
I understand that. I understand that. So let's take an average then, John. Let's take an average then of the. You say 450?
Yeah.
So, so even with subsidies, a family of 4, they're still going to pay, no matter what. They're going to pay something, even with subsidies.
Correct.
Okay, so if we take $450 times 12, that equals $5,400. Now, another thing I wanted to ask, what would their deductible be in that category, roughly?
Okay, their deductibles now, because of cost sharing, are being bought down.
Well, about how much?
So, somewhere in that area. I'm just trying to think of a plan like through Kaiser.
Yeah, just give me a plan.
Initially $2,500, max out of pocket of $7,100. Now that deductible for the family might be bought down to $1,000.
Okay, so they will have $1,000 deductible, $450 a month, right?
Correct.
So the maximum out-of-pocket in this example is $1,000, not including...
That's your deductible. The max out-of-pocket now for the family or for the individual, the family would be twice it.
But what does that mean? What's the difference? What's the difference between deductible and max out-of-pocket?
Your deductible is initially what you've got to meet. So if I have a $5,000
Oh, okay, and then you have the 80, right, and then you have the 80-20 until the maximum. I get it. We got to take this break. That's why I rushed you. But if you could hold on, I would really appreciate it, because we want to learn a lot more about this. And, a lot of times this is responsible for bankruptcy. It really is. This is the #1 reason people go bankrupt. Did you know that? A medical problem. WinkandWink.com, 303-410-1720. They're great people, Mike and Gigi Wink. If you're having a rough spot in your life, I hope you don't need them, but if you do, you will love them. 303-410-1720.
So, this was when my kids were probably 5 and 3. We're in, I rent a car when we're in Mexico, and I hire this guy to drive us around to the pyramids. He was our tour guide, but I found this guy just at the bus stop, okay? So I find this dude at the bus stop, and it was the 4 of us.
Family first.
And he's driving us around. So listen to this, man. He drives us to what he calls, before we get there, a family zoo. And I'm like, well, that's fucking cool. We're going to the zoo. So we show up, and the zoo is in the middle of the jungle, literally in the middle of the jungle. And it's a house this guy owns.
It's a monkey on a chain is what the zoo was.
The zoo consisted of
a weed crops in the back.
A spider monkey that literally had a chain around its neck that's like, going fucking ape shit out there. And then a few chickens.
Safety first.
This is true. Oh, it's fucking true as hell. So,
with our 6 and 7-year-olds.
So I got to take a piss, man. I'm looking at the zoo. The whole tour is 8 minutes. So I'm looking at the zoo. I said, where do I piss? The guy's like, out back. Makes sense. There's no bathroom. We're in the middle of the jungle. They literally live in a hut. The zoo is a hut. So I go around the back. I'm taking a leak.
Looks like
and I notice I'm pissing on marijuana plants. So it sits there. The entire back of the zoo is a guy growing dope. So it's a zoo. It's a grow place. And then when we leave, they try to sell us fresh-made tortillas that are on rocks. They cook them on rocks. It was fucking crazy.
You buy the tortillas.
I had the best time. God, we had the best time. We climbed the pyramids. This guy brought us all these old Aztec pyramids, or Mayan
these
pyramids.
Ones that weren't on the normal route, they were like in the jungle?
No, you could go, no, trust me, that zoo was on no normal route.
No, I mean the pyramids.
No, the pyramids were on regular ones, but he had connections to get us in for free and shit. I mean, I paid him at the end of the day for the whole trip, but we had a great time. And when I say we met him at the bus stop, we were going down to take a bus tour. The bus just left. He was one of the drivers that just got off duty. So it wasn't like some dude at the bus stop. He was actually a tour guide. But I said, when's the next one? He goes, tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, man, we really wanted to go. And he's like, well, okay, I'll tell you what. If you give me this much, I don't remember what it was. I'll drive you around in your car. We'll do the whole tour. And he goes, and we'll do shit that no one else does. And I'm like, fucking sweet. One of my favorite, he brought us this little shack, and it was like a 7-Eleven, but of course it's like literally a shack. Right. And there was all these kids around, and there had to be...
They're selling chiclet guns.
All of them. No, yep, correct, of course. But this is, once again, in the middle of the jungle. The 7-Eleven, I call it that because I don't know what else to call it. It's a little... But all they had was there was barely anything there, though. Yeah, but there's like no air conditioning, no walls. I mean, it's like a fucking bench with shit on it. So I pretty much buy all the candy. And then me and the kids are giving them the little kids. My kids are like 3 and 5 or whatever, 5 and 7, whatever she said. So we go out to the village. We're just walking around the village, giving candy out to these kids. And at some point you look back, and there's like 50, the whole villagers are just following us around for candy. It was the coolest shit, man. But this guy would get us into some of the pyramids you couldn't go into anymore. He would go up to where the guard was, and, you know, I guess he knew him from being a tour, so we got to go into some pyramids that the general public couldn't go into.
Yeah, when I went, they stopped the climbing.
Yeah. When we were there, you could still, well, we've been there numerous times, but that particular time, you could still climb. Last time we went back, they killed the climbing. Did you see the blood stains that are like 1,000 years old?
Because they had big fences now, so holy shit, you couldn't get real close and stuff. I was pissed off because I wanted to climb it. You know, I remember the old Nike commercial where they're in the middle of the jungle running up the
Suzanne hated it. She literally crawled down, like on her butt.
Oh, really?
Crab crawled down.
Well, she didn't like that. She doesn't like heights and stuff.
Yeah, but coming down, I mean, it's pretty Actually, they're very steep, man.
Are they?
Oh, it's like this. Okay. But we've always rented a car. We've been there probably 20 times.
Okay, so, but just think what would happen. That guy has an accident. He runs out. You know, you're responsible for the car and everything.
Well, I buy insurance. I buy full. Are you kidding? When I'm in Mexico, it's the only time I buy. Our insurance here will not go across borders.
Right.
I buy literally. What I do is I go online. It's a company called Fair Trade, and I buy my own insurance package through Fair Trade. And it's an American company. They cover fucking everything.
All I know is you say you get in an accident, your fault, you hurt somebody, you're in jail.
Well, no, you have insurance like anything, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe
all they care.
Bad stories.
I don't know why people are afraid of doing shit.
Well, I'm afraid of doing it.
There's like one.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK. The largest town hall meeting in the world right here, where we are discussing stuff. Now, John Jones with Integra Insurance Group is on the line, and we were talking about health insurance. Basically, you take most people in this country that don't have subsidies. I don't know, John, would you say how many people in this country do not have subsidies?
I can't answer that.
No, I mean, what percentage? Half?
I would probably say close to 70% of the people that will help do an open enrollment will qualify for some form of
So
subsidy.
30% do not. And for those 30%, I can tell you, they're paying $800 or more,
yeah,
plus...
Right, 800. Try like my family of 4, like what we're using as an example, is about $1,200 a month, and then anytime we walk into the doctor, I'm paying cash anyhow.
It's $6,000 deductible.
It's more than that now.
I mean, we had a person that just came out for group coverage, 62 years old. She makes $52,000 a year, right above the cutoff, which is $48,000 to get any tax type of tax credits. And her premium right now is right at $680 on a bronze level. And she's perfectly healthy.
And that's the cheapest policy.
$680 for one person, and what's the deductible?
In her case, it'd be $6,700.
So $6,700. So truly, if you divide that by 12, this is what I tell people. Your coverage really is $650 plus that. That's really what it is. So your coverage every month is more like $1,200. If you really want to aggregate the cost of that deductible.
And here's the biggest part that kills me, and John, you'll understand what I'm saying. If we go back to 2 years before Obamacare, I owned a Goodyear store. I bought insurance through the Goodyear store for myself, my wife, and the 2 kids. We would pay $20 copay, $5 for medicine. Maximum I'd pay for a hospital visit was $250, and it was $1,000 a month. I didn't have this $6,000 out-of-pocket crap.
No, but it
was cheaper.
But, Mark, there's a reason, okay? And part of that reason is on all of us, okay? And that reason is that we are helping those who don't have insurance. That's the whole idea behind Obamacare, is to that the rich pay more, or those who have more pay more, and those who have less pay less or get it free. That's what it's an entitlement.
But now
program.
I've got crappier insurance, no choices. Forget about helping other people. That's great. I love doing that. But they took away everything else too with this crap.
I would say there's got to be other ways, in my opinion, to pay for health care. What I think we should do, John, and I mean this sincerely, we should have simply a qualification for 100% coverage for poor people, and then have a cutoff. And then after that, an open market.
And sell across state lines,
because
able to do everything.
Who says that you have to help everyone? The only reason the middle class needs subsidies, the only reason, is because the premium is so high because of the people getting it free. That everyone is paying for those getting it free, and then those getting subsidies. Why not do this? Why not have a national payment, one-payer system for people who qualify, period? Everyone else, whether maybe it's 70% of the pop, maybe 60, they have to buy insurance. And to pay for the people that don't have insurance, we put use tax, we put value-added taxes on sin, on booze and on cigarettes and on all that stuff, and then find other ways to fund it, or even have a flat fee. I swear to you, I would be willing to pay a flat fee every year to contribute to the health care fund.
Do you realize your insurance right now, Tom? I don't even know who you have, but yours and your sons have to pay for maternity care. You have coverage for that. You have coverage for an abortion. I don't care what you think about abortion. My point is, you, if you wanted one, have coverage. You're forced as a man to have coverage for stuff you literally will never use.
John,
I'm here.
Isn't Obamacare, if the Republicans do nothing, and again, I don't give a rat for Republicans or Democrats, their plan, it has nothing to do with that. I'm tired of saying it, but here's the deal. Won't Obamacare fail on its own weight?
It's already collapsing, yes.
Okay.
Hold on, listen to what I say. You ready?
But Tom,
listen, hold on, John.
The uncertainty.
But let him. I will let you.
What's happening back in Washington right now? People are going to be shocked with their rate increases this year.
Okay, if we keep Obamacare, but see, people won't be shocked because, John, the people who are living off the trough, they don't care. I mean,
they don't vote either, though.
You're telling me the 70% of the people that get subsidies, why would they care if it goes up? Or
because
do
their tax credits now, they're still going to see those rate increases this year. Because
they're going to pay more, Tom.
An average of 25, 30. In Cigna's case, they want a 41% rate increase this year. So their tax credits are not going to offset completely those increases. So they're going to feel it this year.
So the only people that are not going to cry are about the 30% getting it free.
Or Medicaid.
Or whatever, maybe 20%.
Yeah, Medicaid.
Yeah, whatever, yeah, Medicaid, whatever that percentage is.
You know what, so when John sells a policy, you know this, not using a broker is insane because we never pay the broker. I use John, you use John, we use Integra. But guess what? There's a lot of people that aren't going to pay John next year, like Kaiser. John, I was reading that Kaiser may no longer pay brokers on the exchange. Is there any truth to that?
They have filed all their plans with no commissions right now.
So why would John sell Kaiser? If I was John or Integra, I wouldn't sell Kaiser. There's no purpose in it anymore.
So then people go direct to Kaiser if they want it.
But we're always going to be here, Mark, to help our clients.
I know that, John. It has nothing to do with you.
But if you have a client, John, that has a family, or you have a couple clients and all they do is Kaiser or Medicaid, why would you bother? I mean, if they don't have any paying premiums, why would any broker want a bunch of clients like that?
I can understand that, Tom, but we're still here to help and provide the best information we
can
on
you're
behalf
right.
of our clients.
But here's the deal, okay? People, here's the thing. When you hear these idiots talking on cable news and all the other outlets, and they're talking about how dreadful it's going to be if they pass this bill because so many people will be without health care, it's going to happen anyway. Do you understand that? It's going to happen anyway. We need a new system no matter what. And if anyone has suggestions, I would love to hear from you. Please, 303-MARTINO. That's the number. Just if you have ideas. Really, 303-627-8466. We have more coming up.
Thanks, John.
Would you sell Kaiser if you made all your money off commissions? Are you kidding? They wouldn't even be on my list. How do you pay an employee from nothing?
It's just like, oh shoot, who are the people that they sell vacations and stuff?
Travel agents?
Travel agents.
Oh, they're gone. Things have passed.
Right. But you know, just like that, I mean, there was.
Well, no, that's not true. These places, no, they're all online now. It's a little different. Yeah, you go to Apple Vacations or you go to some of these bigger places. Priceline's a travel agency.
You know what John was saying, but I don't know logistically how it would affect Tom. He said, especially since I'm Tom's only employee, we may want to consider doing some sort of group plan. It would save him money and us, but I don't know if that's worth discussing.
Whatever's cheaper, have them punch the numbers.
John Jones told me earlier, he said, I just don't know how it works logistically, what you have to cover on an employee, but he says, we may want to think, because group plans are only going up 7%, he said.
Well, it's because they're already higher, though. So, I mean, you still got to do the math.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's something to think about.
I think
the problem is we'd be in his age pool.
You're taking advantage of his handicap over this lunch business with the should and the shit.
It's the medical industry that needs to be changed.
Do we want to bring up the retreaded tires call? Or no?
Is he on?
No, but he went to his independent place and Al had his independent place.
No, but Tom should do an update. So once again, prove that I have probably never been wrong.
Except that time you thought you were wrong.
I love how
One time I thought I was wrong, I was actually
I love
right.
how Tom tunes us out.
I got my parents' tickets to fly out for Addie's third degree. They love Southwest Airlines more than anybody. They said the way they load the plane is unlike anything they've ever been through. It's a treat just to be on that plane. Who said that? You remember that one lady that really said that?
Yeah. Oh, the one she was the big anti-Obama person, right? Wasn't she that common lady?
Oh, she was. God, sometimes it's so funny.
Oh, they need to trade. The medical industry is where it's at.
I don't think so. I think it's insurance. No, here it is. It's all regulations. Why, if I sell insurance and I live in Kansas, I can't sell it everywhere else? Why do I have to? Why can't I buy a policy that just covers catastrophic?
I agree.
Well, you can't.
Okay,
it's all regulation.
Okay, go to a place and ask how much is the X-ray is going to cost.
Yeah, but I know a private doctor. If I wanted to go to him, he would cut me deals.
Okay, so
that's
you know
that.
Where's
not going to handle a hospital stay or anything. No.
But okay, go and see what an MRI is. You look and see what an MRI can be anywhere from $800 to $4,000.
Okay, I swear to God, I'm going to say one thing. Listen to what I'm saying. Okay, regulations. I'm going to give you the perfect example. We force hospitals to treat people.
Right.
If they have no insurance, nothing, and walk in with their head fucking pancake, they will sit there and rack up a $500,000 bill, and the hospital can't kick them to the curb.
I understand.
I'm not talking the morals of it. I'm saying it's 100% regulation is why everything's high.
No, that's not.
It's not open market.
Why? They should be able to advertise their prices.
They can't.
Why?
A hospital? Who are we talking about?
A hospital, a doctor, everybody.
How can you force them to take patients at no cost and then advertise the cost? How can you do that?
That's a separate thing.
They've got to create these costs over here that move around to cover the cost of all the free shit.
That's not why there's a big disparity in different things like an X-ray. It's like because they got to deal with this insurance company. If cash only gives you this, you go pay cash.
You can't tell a business. You've got to advertise how much a Twinkie is, but you got to give them away for free whenever the fuck someone comes in. How can you ask them that?
Well, first of all, and stuff that part, if they did the right thing, they would say, okay, that. Well, of course, if you say that goes to the government cost, then all they're going to do is jack up the price and
jack up the. You can't regulate a business and tell them to run it right. You can't do it.
But they don't. When you say that they have to take it free, they only have to accept them there for free. And they can transfer them out as long as they're stable also.
That's right. That's it. In emergency room care, that's the largest part.
Okay, so you tell me right there, why go to urgent care and pay, what did you say, $13,000 for a...
Because they open these places to make a shitload of money. I love the fucking model. I want to open one near a ski resort. I mean, call me an asshole. I don't think it's a bad idea. Who cares? You go to what? There's no difference between going to Skyridge, Denver General, or anywhere. If you have insurance, it's going to cost you $13,000 to walk in the hospital.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. I got to get to people now who've been waiting a long time. Suzanne, you want to let line 1 go, and I can take it?
He got disconnected, so
All
I'm
right.
getting him back
Bradley,
on.
what's going on with you, Bradley? What's happening?
Well, I just never hear about other addictions other than opioid addiction, and I have a severe gambling addiction.
Are you talking about are you talking about the comment because I talked about the Raleigh house yesterday?
Yeah. Well, I know that these gambling horror stories don't come to the forefront, and I know it's a big
I think you called.
Devastating as drug addiction.
I think you called yesterday, or somebody heard me doing a commercial for the Raleigh house.
I think he emailed.
And you emailed us.
No, I don't have a computer.
You
it wasn't me.
Oh, it wasn't you. Okay. Well, then you're the second one we heard from, or the third, that said when I talked about the individual treatment plans, that medically based and all of that at the Raleigh house, I mentioned all of the addictions. I did. And there are a ton of addictions. And here's the deal. When you deal with rehab, you're right. Raleigh House doesn't handle gambling addictions. I don't think they do. You might want to call them.
No, I think they do, Tom.
Well, I'd like to know because
they're known to get to the root of the issue, not just what they're addicted to.
Here's what it says on the website, and we went and visited them, and I'll find out. But I do want to talk to you, Bradley. Don't hang up. I want to talk to you. They do alcohol, cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, LSD. Suzanne, can you call? It's 720-891-4657. We're marketing this place because I believe in what they do. They're great people. I don't know a lot about rehabilitation. All I know is the people have to be committed, they have to love what they do, and they have to have a love for people. This goes way beyond the economy of it. But I have to tell you, if you don't have insurance, no matter where you go, it'll be almost impossible unless you have a commitment to this thing. It's mostly covered by insurance, and that's a wonderful thing. And they work with people on trying to get as many through as possible. But the Raleigh House or any good rehabilitation center is expensive. That's just life. That's the way it is. Actually, they're not expensive when you compare it to the industry. I don't like talking about this, but it's for real. If you have a special need and you can't afford it, and you talk to them, they may have suggestions. Call us back. We may have suggestions. I think this is one area where people need help, and I'm glad we have these kinds of centers. Raleigh House has a few locations in town, and they have changed lives. So
they do have some in-house financing, by the way.
They do.
In-house.
Okay. And again, insurance does cover a lot of this. I want to tell you that I will find out about the gambling, and I'll talk about it. I just can't say enough about good people in this area. By the way, they are at 720-891-4657. Now, I've said this yesterday. If you're an addict directly, you may not want to call. You may. But if you want to talk to me first, email us, live@troubleshooter.com. This is what, I have a lot to do with abused animals. I help a lot of those causes. And for some reason, I have a heart for addiction because I know it hit my family pretty hard. So if you need some help, live@troubleshooter.com. But meanwhile, I really suggest that friends and family, if you need help dealing with your addict and you want to get him into somewhere, just call to get some suggestions from the Raleigh House or call for more information. It's 720-891-4657, the Raleigh, and that's like in Raleigh, North Carolina, even though they're here, theRaleighHouse.com. I think their original place was on Raleigh Street.
It was. They spend a lot of time in that initial phone call when you call,
Let's talk to Julian. Julian at the Raleigh House. Julian, do you guys handle gambling addiction? Are you there, Julian? He's on 8. Sorry about that. Okay, Julian, there you are. Do you handle gambling addiction?
So we can work with gambling as a co-occurring disorder, but we cannot treat that as a primary addiction. And, if someone calls and are struggling with that, I'd be happy to make an appropriate referral if that is their primary addiction issue.
What kind of referrals? I mean, are there places that specialize in that kind of addiction?
They are going to be classified more as what's known as a process addiction center, so they're going to be handling gambling addictions, more of the maybe intimacy, sex addiction disorders, and things of that nature.
Okay. And you guys are concentrated mainly on what?
On addiction as a primary, as well as behavioral health and mental health.
Julian, in plain terms, what is really the difference? I understand one is a drug and there's a physical as well as a mental addiction, but what makes gambling any different than any other addiction or sex addiction?
Well, while it works on the brain in very similar ways, and it's hitting those same spots, and many of the behaviors can be similar, treating some of the trauma that comes along with that, and specifically the behaviors and some of the other issues, can be something that's a little bit more specialized, and that's where that process addiction with eating and gambling, putting those in an environment where they can specialize.
I understand. It's more. I understand. Now, Bradley, did you have anything to ask Julian at the Raleigh House, or anything to say?
Well, I have my own definition for gambling, which is the same definition as insanity.
Yes, doing the same thing over and over.
And expecting different results.
Do you have an addiction, Bradley?
Yes, dog racing for 40 years.
But I mean, is it truly an addiction to you?
It's more of a compulsion.
All right, if you want to hold on and talk, that's fine. Maybe Julian will have some suggestions. If not, that's okay too. I'm Tom Martino.
If he wants to get some suggestions, and if Julian wants to, yes, it's fine. If not,
I bet he holds on. I'll bet you lunch he holds on. I'll bet you lunch I could get you to bed.
Okay.
I haven't bet for 50 years. I bet you I can get you to bed.
Dog.
Okay, fine.
Dogs.
I play the dogs when I'm in Vegas. Actually, last time I didn't. Mexico's big for dogs.
Just want to play roulette.
It is. All I ever bet in dogs, and I learned this from a good buddy of mine that died, was 1, 2, 7, 8 trifecta. Simply you're betting the outside and inside, that out of the 4, 3 of them come in any order. It's a $24 bet, and if it ever does hit, it can be anywhere from 500 and up. But, usually doesn't work that way. But you're right, it's like roulette. It's dog racing as a ultimate is very consistent. If you take the same numbers, I don't care if you only bet 1 dog to win, you always take the 2 to win, you always take the 7 to win, or the 3 to show. You always take the same bet and run it, you'll have better odds than if you're switching shit up.
I'll bet you there's more insider with dogs than there is for any reason.
No way. How do you train a dog to fucking go fast or slow down? They check them for drugs, they check them for all this shit.
You're right then. Because you're saying the rider then.
The fucking horses are the ones that I've seen a horse. I followed this guy. He was 30 to 1. He was doing his maiden race or some shit. A big purse race for the first time. He'd raced a lot and he never won. He always looked like shit. Finally, there's a big pool, a big bet. This son of a bitch blew every way away. I guarantee the owner was holding that horse back that whole year until that big purse won.
Did you see that? Are you talking about that recent one that at the end?
That was crazy too. No, you're talking about the big race where
I was hung back the entire time.
And then
just went bam.
How would you do that? How would they force the horse to?
Oh, the jockey.
The horse has got to have that.
I'm not talking about what he said. I'm saying you could hold a horse
back.
Sure,
absolutely. Right. What I'm saying is how even you hold them back to the very end and then shoot on.
That's usually how they do it.
But the horse has got to have that last. Yeah. I think
you got a cocaine pen.
Dog racing, they should make a monkey be on the back.
Who's this? It was Kramer when he's at the track.
He had a gambling addiction. Hey, Kramer had a gambling addiction.
Jerry, listen, I got a gambling addiction, so make this bet for me.
Yeah, I thought that was the only addiction they really... No. What other addiction were they talking about?
Well,
there's 2 other causes.
The stock market guy.
Because he sniffed.
Cocaine.
But he did, really.
Well, we don't know.
Who else did they have?
As an addiction? Oh, the alcoholic Elaine's boyfriend.
There's another one too.
Is he off the wagon or on the wagon? I forget. There was another one? Another one. So cocaine, gambling, alcohol, and you're saying there's another one.
Well, they had that intervention for that one guy. He was on the drugs there. Remember that?
Oh, the comedian.
And then he had the Pez. And then, remember?
And she met him outside.
It was an episode with the Pez, yeah.
What kind of Pez dispenser was it?
On the thing, it was a, what was it?
Tweety Bird.
But remember, he said, because he had the Pez sitting there. And then he said, yeah, he had a car accident, and then there was Pez all over the car. He had a car accident with his dad. That was so they did deal with an addiction on 5 different ones. I think that was drugs.
It was drugs. I can't think. I almost had the guy's name on my tongue too.
Oh, then who did they say he was all?
Don't listen to Jerry. He likes Jerry.
Also,
and then Kramer. Why didn't they want to invite Kramer? That they used to play softball.
That's right, and he dumped water on him.
On the coach, and the coach died.
That's right. Okay, so there's another addiction I can remember.
Another one.
Sugar.
Oh, I'll tell you another one. Bulimic. She was refunding. Actually, they dealt with a shitload of addicts.
What about sugar addiction? Remember this one?
Oh, that's right. Hey, where's my 20%? I got you off these.
I got you.
He goes, take those. He goes, take it away. He sold them women's glasses. And then Kramer calls him. Ooh, hello, ma'am.
You got a chain on that?
Hello, ma'am. And then what's he do? He fucking swaps him with a blind guy. George is such a ham.
So you're right there. There's probably 7 different addictions.
And I know we're not thinking of some of them.
Probably. Crazy. See, that show really was like
Crazy Joe DeMola.
You got you off
You were eating these 4 a day or 4 in the morning.
Those writers are really...
I hope this guy shows up today, man. We got a sting going down at 4.
We're there. What, Mark?
I don't want to say it in case I doubt the guy's listening, but it's a bad contractor that we've got a fake setup to where he's going to come out and give us a bid.
Do you have the camera? Do you want to take my camera? I have a video camera that I really like using. It's great. Now,
how big is it?
Because it's just this big.
You want to take that instead?
Yeah, I would suggest it.
Okay.
The only reason I say is because...
Can it zoom in pretty good?
Yeah, it's full screen. It's HD.
Will it play music?
See, I'm going to serve them, so I'm going to say...
You want to play the Sting song while we're doing it?
Not while we're doing it. No, but I could put together a really cool...
We'll get some good video.
And then
I'll get some
I've held
in front.
some of the stuff you've recently done, because when my Troubleshooter site is published, I'm going to actually start putting these things out. And I can put them under your authorship so they go in that column, but I want them on the front up in the big pane, especially videos. So really, all this stuff I'm going to use.
We'll get this guy good today if he shows.
I have something called a social media queue.
And we're serving.
So when he gets that done, Mark, I need him to actually move it to the right domain too, not just light it up. But
I do that.
Okay. Yeah. No.
I switched it back because it was.
But you don't move the files. We have to see what I mean is we actually.
No. I know what you're saying.
And redirect.
Yeah.
But you don't do those, the internal links and all that.
This is the Troubleshooter Show.
Help! I need somebody.
Now, Tom Martino, the Troubleshooter.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your Troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Welcome to the only show of its kind anywhere. We are live on Facebook, live on YouTube, giving a voice to those who are just feeling like garbage, maybe like something is unjust, or they need to just shout. This is the soapbox. Media with a purpose. I coined that more than 40 years ago when I began doing what I do on radio and TV. Of course, I retired from full-time TV, and now we love the internet and the internet video. Okay. I have people with a lot of problems. I got to get to them. I promise you. I'm gonna do this quickly. Bradley just wanted to bring awareness to gambling addiction. I wanted to know if he had any specific questions for our expert from the Raleigh House. The Raleigh House, they don't do this kind of addiction, sex addiction or gambling, more of the behavioral addictions, and they can refer you or give you some information. But Bradley, when he heard me doing a commercial for the Raleigh House, said, you know, it's really bad. Now, you said it's more of a compulsion. So, Bradley, I don't know the definition of an addiction. Julian, how do you know if you have an addiction or just a compulsion? How do you know? Are you there?
I'm just chasing my dream that I've had. I'm like one of those guys that comes out of MIT and goes to Las Vegas to play professional poker.
When's the last time you bet?
If I ever get all the pieces.
When's the last time you placed a bet?
A week, about a week or two ago.
Yeah, well, maybe you just, I don't know. Like Bradley, you don't get sick and shake and get weird if you don't bet, right?
Oh, I just get depressed.
You just what?
Get depressed.
Okay. Julian, what actually, if I had to ask you, Julian, from the Raleigh House, what is the definition of an addiction?
Of an addiction, I would say, I think that there are several ways you can look at it in the entirety of the mind, body, and spirit kind of approach. An addiction, you can look at it as the physiological dependence, where the body needs that to function and it stops producing the other chemicals. And, you know, I even heard the gentleman speak to the, you know, the definition of insanity. And really, I think when it comes down to the really high-risk behaviors and their inability to stop that, and when it becomes more important than, you know, the food, water, and really people start compromising their moral fabric. Okay, so, you know, Bradley, I guess it doesn't matter if you give it a name. If the behavior is screwing with you, it's dangerous, you know? I mean, you do something about it. Again, Bradley, if you call Julian at the Raleigh House, 720-893-5559, that's the number for our people to call.
5555?
It's 720
right.
893
right.
5559, and we'll give that number out. And it's theRaleighHouse.com. Okay, thank you. Let's talk to Chris. Chris, what's going on with you, Chris?
Hi. Well, it's a long story. I think it's actually a little bit too late now.
What do you mean? You don't think I can help now? Is it too, you mean, what? just tell me what it is.
You know, honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
What had happened is our landlord, we moved into Aurora in August. In October, our power went out and our landlord refused to fix it.
Wait a minute. What do you mean refused to fix power?
Well, I mean, sorry. It went out in 2 rooms.
Oh.
And he just kept saying, we'll send someone out, we'll send someone out. They never came out. Or they kept saying it was a GFIC. Well, in June, we decided not to pay rent so he could fix it, but then he just evicted us.
Well, and he had a right to do it because that was the wrong way of doing it.
Yeah, that's what I've understood now.
You got to actually, if you want to withhold rent, you have to do something that is official. You have to do something called a notice of breach of habitability standards. However, 2 rooms with power out may not be considered a breach of habitability standards.
Well, we also had an electrician come out the day before court, and he said it's an SPE stab lock breaker box, which they've been sued out of existence for... Okay, I understand. So you're saying it's dangerous. Here's the thing, Chris. Yeah. What can we do now that you're evicted? What can we do? That's the thing. I don't know.
Are they keeping your deposit?
Oh, I'm sure it's probably going to be like... I'm sure. We haven't heard anything yet, but I'm sure he's actually...
Where are you living? Where are you living?
We're in Colorado Springs right now at a friend's house. Okay, Chris, listen.
If you were evicted for withholding rent, how long had you withheld rent? 1 month?
Yeah, basically, yes.
Okay, so which month?
June, and he filed the paperwork in July. So.
And when were you actually out in July?
That was yesterday. We had a bond that was supposed to be posted for
so a month and a half you were there without rent, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then did you save a little money with that month that you didn't pay?
No, we actually used, because he also never turned on our swamp cooler, so it reached 95 degrees in our house. My wife works from home, So she missed a lot of work. You know, you can't really work when there's 95. You can't plug in an air conditioner because there's no electricity.
So so you lost income.
We lost income, and we just took what little we had and moved to the Springs.
Man, I feel badly. I don't know what we can do for you right now because it's after the fact. I mean,
yeah, I know. We had a legal advice yesterday, and they said they would email the judge a letter, but it turns out they misled us and they couldn't do anything.
Oh, you mean to try to keep you from getting evicted?
Yes.
All right, Chris, are you telling me that you were on the phone yesterday before the eviction hearing?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the last minute. I don't think we would have been able to do anything. I wish you would have called us when this thing was out, because here's the deal. There are things you can do if the habitability standards are violated. But which two rooms had power out?
My kid's room and my wife's office.
I'm not sure that would constitute a breach of habitability. It would be a repair issue for sure.
And the air conditioning not working, definitely.
Well, now that could be, although I don't know. Mark, heat is required, but I don't know if AC is.
No way. There's so many homes in Colorado that don't have AC.
Yeah, so it's not required.
No, not in the habitability.
Not in habitability standards. So,
well,
listen.
We also have proof of him harassing us is even a big thing.
What do you mean by harassing?
Calling us names.
Listen, here's what you might want to do.
He's going to evict us almost every other month.
Listen to this, Chris, and I'm serious. You have nothing to lose. Add up the lost income, add up the security deposit and other things, and write a letter to him saying, from your calculations, the eviction cost you this, and it was intolerable anyway, and you would have been leaving anyway. So what I would do is I would take him to small claims court, and you tell the judge it was a constructive eviction, that you withheld rent because it was intolerable, and you knew it would end up in an eviction, but it was, you need damages because he refused to fix anything. Just see what happens, because you have nothing to lose at this point. Another Chris with credit cards. What's going on, Chris? Chris with credit cards. Are you there?
Yeah, hey, Tom.
What's going on, man?
So, I just wanted to open up the call with, I know you say that you're the longest-running radio host.
Radio show with a continual host, yes.
Yeah, so, when K-Hal was owned by Metro Media, and I believe that cluster, didn't Rick Lewis start in 1988? Didn't you guys start about the same time?
Who's Rick Lewis? You mean on...
Lewis's Floor Wax.
Rick Lewis.
I remember them from back in the day. I think that was 107.5, wasn't it?
Well,
103.5 The Fox.
Yeah, no, I remember 103.5 The Fox. I don't know. Well, let's check that out.
But wait, is he still on the air now?
Yeah, Rick is. Of course he is. Yeah. Now, let's just find out. When did Rick start, and did he have a continuous run on a show? I kind of meant talk shows, but I should have said that. But anyway, go ahead. And what's going on with your credit cards?
No, it's nothing really going on. So I have a couple of judgments on me right now for a medical bill and for an old credit card that I had.
Okay.
And so I have a checking account. I'm kind of worried that I might, get it rid of garnishment. It might
you will. You will. And eventually they're going to find it, and they will.
Well, and so I kind of thought of maybe perhaps a loophole in my mind where because my bank provides a secured credit card, $10,000 line of credit, should I just start dumping my paychecks in that secured line of credit? Can they go after that?
Okay, this is a good point. You said paychecks. Let me explain this to you. Under Colorado law, any kind of an account that holds a paycheck, they can only take 25%, okay? So if you, first of all, you name the account, your credit, you can do a secured credit card, yes, but there's going to be a certain amount. You just don't keep dumping as much money as you want in it. There's only like a $1,000 or a $500 or a $2,000.
Well, mine is $10,000. Actually, they have a $10,000 secured line of credit.
They do. Do you have $10,000 in cash?
Well, no, so I'm thinking, should I just maybe throw my cash in a safe and make
I see what you're saying.
Deposits on the secured card. Can that be garnished, by the way? Could a secured card be garnished?
No, not if it's because it's secured. They're in line. They're first in line, so they can't take it. The credit card company has priority, so that is a smart move, but listen carefully. You're already protected 75% because it's a paycheck. What I need you to do, though, is no matter what you do, name the account, even if it's not on the card, name the account at the bank level, name it Chris so-and-so's payroll account. Payroll, you know, make sure it says that. It doesn't, that's not required by law, but it does put everyone on notice that that's your paychecks. And don't commingle any other money in there at all. So you can show direct deposits of paychecks only. If you can do that, you can protect 75% of it. And if you mingle other funds, then the whole thing is up for grabs. So this argument has been fought in court and won, that paychecks, even if they're in an account, as long as they're held separately, are protected, 75% protected, and they can only garnish 25%.
It's so hard to search him. Was his dad in radio too?
Rick Lewis and Flowax. I went in today to see him. I had to